My name is Bill Mancini. I am a T6 complete paraplegic. I was 20 years old in October of 1993. I was a year out of high school. I was an architectural engineering major at a local technical school. It was actually 5 o'clock in the morning. Woke up with a stiff neck and sort of went to the refrigerator to get some water. And when I clicked my head back to drink the water, that's when the vein broke open. I kind of understand it as a spinal aneurysm. Basically, it was a stroke to the spinal cord. And as I was walking back and forth in the kitchen, my legs began falling apart underneath me. And the next thing I remember was my parents picking me up and helping me get dressed in order to rush me to the hospital. My life came, flipped upside down at that point. Did my normal stay with 2 to 3 months at acute care rehab at Gaylord Hospital. Those days, they actually came to your house to do the training much easier than what it is now. I really moved forward. Within a year's time, I was back to working part-time, going and taking classes. Got right back into a car. I was just going to move on. I had the hopes of walking, but I wanted to get back into things. I also had a very supportive network around me. I come from a big Italian family. I think the biggest reason I crashed and burned 2 years later is because, it became more real over time. As you explore more and you want to do more, things became a little bit more difficult. Getting into relationships and seeing my friends do things that I wanted to do that I was struggling to even figure out if I could do. Those things kind of tend to weigh on your shoulders a little bit and bring you a little bit down. Those 2 years were pretty tough. I remember pretty vividly being in my living room with my parents as my mom and dad were watching TV, sobbing and crying to them, I really am going to be stuck here. And they said, they understood. They gave me time. They gave me space. Got connected with the National Spinal Cord Injury Association. Talked to some different people within the organization. Gave me some motivation and some guidance to keep pushing along, keep going forward. Did a little basketball, not much. Stayed active. Was able to slowly and surely turn things around mentality-wise. Have kept in constant work with the chapter and has led me to become chapter president. Currently, I'm a special ed teacher in Bristol, Connecticut, working with kindergartners through 5th graders with all sorts of disabilities, learning, attention, behavioral disabilities. Have gone back to get another degree in a master's in reading and language arts, a 6-year degree in educational leadership with the hopes of one day leading a elementary school as a assistant principal kind of position. As a special ed teacher, being disabled actually helps me a lot work with the students that I work with. Not being afraid to get into situations where a student is struggling. That ability to understand where they're coming from. A really great part of it is the relationship that I build with parents, that ability for them to understand that I'm out there for their kid. I'm disabled. When in elementary school, they're just being identified, and the initial shocks of having a student with a disability. Having that sensitivity, building that relationship is a positive. My disability actually helped me to focus and drive me to want to be successful just as a person. Being a successful, independent, functioning member of society, I think sometimes that is taken for granted just in general. Kind of went through a bout of cancer on my scapula. They actually chopped up half my scapula out. Actually got stuck in a nursing care home for a couple of weeks, which was probably more difficult than the spinal cord injury. Due to not having one arm working, that was kind of a struggle. But life for me at this moment is just being a positive person in society. It's not all bad. There's a lot of bad things going on right now, a lot of bad attitudes. We as people with disabilities look at ourselves as in a negative way, but I actually think if you maintain yourself with the right attitude and the right positivity, you are an inspiration for those that are out there. Just going for a walk and watching people walk by you and be like, man, to smile. That's motivating another person. I continue to have hope with the idea that there will be a cure for spinal cord injury, but it doesn't drive me. It doesn't impact the way I plan my life or plan my future. 10 years into my teaching, colleagues and principals nominated me for Exemplary Teacher of the Year by the Connecticut Associations of Schools, which I was awarded. So that's a huge accomplishment just on the professional note. Looking forward to keeping life positive and getting married, retirement, looking forward to an ongoing career, going and getting my doctorate in education, if not going and getting my law degree, but, and having a little fun on the way. Not everybody's the same. Don't ever anybody have to say that this is what you have to do, or this is how you should be feeling, or this is what you need. Time. Take the time that you need in order to move forward with your life. Eventually, those kinds of things with the right support systems and the right people in place to help you out, life does get better.